Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's February 25th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and this will probably be our last one for the week. We'll be back again to do it Monday, so most likely no chart lesson tomorrow. But for the most part, we were sideways until around lunchtime, and then we traded up pretty strongly from there. This was a fairly nice trend up, but there weren't a lot of entries here before it got into the 2 o'clock hour. But if you caught this one of these early moves down here, you could have ridden this all the way for the most part. So, um, but anyway, it looked like we were going to be sideways all day in another range, and for whatever reason we broke out. There was a news item right around 7:30 this morning. We'll talk about that. It didn't really. It was a high volatility type news item, but it didn't really affect the market very much. So. Um, But just to throw that out there, that sometimes you got to be careful entering around those high volatility things. But you can see this one didn't do a whole lot. We got a little bounce out of it. It pulled right back, tried to go up again, and then turned down. So, but let's back out and talk about the trades and wrap it up for the day. Um, we were working up here. We got a nice channel. We did get an overshoot here on this side. This is in the pre overnight stuff. So a lot of times you'll get an overshoot like that, um, or you'll get a actually you'll get moves, you get overshoots and undershoots, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But generally, the price action still holds true. And anytime you get an overshoot on one side, you may either come up short that much on one side, or you're going to overshoot it on the other side. Generally, it's an equal amount. We didn't quite make an equal move there, but it leads to a break of this trend line. This is a very obvious trend line working up through here. And notice you got a new low, big move down, then you get a first entry, pull back, second entry. And this is the first close outside this trend line, so we're looking for a retest of that high. And so when you get that failed second entry short, you want to go long right there. And this thing actually traded down, broke loose, and then traded back up and went out the other side. So nice place to get long. Again, this was right around the news hour, but you can see it just didn't really affect much. The price action was still valid. The only time you got to be careful is when it's moving really quickly, but that's just not happening here. We're moving fairly normal speed and quick, easy move. It does pull back, and you almost get a repeat pattern here. Um, Notice the low and the little break lower. It goes lower and turns up. It's a second entry long too. This is a new swing high. It's higher than that one. Pull back first entry, pull back second entry, and it broke lower and went out the upside again. So another nice long. I would have exited this one most likely somewhere up here near the highs, or been prepared to exit it, um, and just watched it to see if it pushed on through, but it didn't. Um, and it turns down. If it would have broke higher here and trapped some people and then turned down on a second entry, I would have liked entering. It's a shame you can't catch this entry here, but there's just really not a good opportunity to catch it there. Um, you get another little push higher here and a big bearish bar, and it actually goes out the top and then turns down. So it's tempting, and this is a breakout pullback short, and it's off of that trend line, but you really just really you could say you confirmed it here. So it's like a third touch, but you got to go short right into that low. It's like a breakout pullback short. So if you really wanted to trade that one and be a little bit aggressive, I'm willing to make it green, but I think you're better off to skip that trade. Um, there's not enough really good reasons to like it. I mean, there's some reasons to, if you want to be aggressive, to take it, but that's where I'll leave it, and I'll leave it as green. And then we kind of just go sideways here, and you get a bounce back to this trend line. This is one of those where you can kind of find it off those first few closes there. Notice how we come back. But you got a little trend line working up here, but it pulls back. It tries to go higher again, and you get a second entry short. Just go short right there. And then you get a failed second entry long and another chance to enter. You should have been out of this one, but if you weren't, you could add on. But either way, I like entering here again. It's a little close to these lows, but this is the main trend line, and you got the trap and all, so you got enough reasons. You might let it break lower and drop a limit order a couple of ticks back in just to give yourself a little more room. But I still like that one. And that's a quick, easy move. And again, I would have been looking to exit probably somewhere down here around, well, your latest one. You probably would have been looking at these, but I probably wouldn't have automatically uh, exited unless it came down to this level. I would wait for something to happen uh, at this level. You really didn't have a good reason to be concerned about this level yet. You did have a bounce right there, but your more important low is this one, so you had to watch that. But so when it bounced right here, that would have been a good time to exit. You might have just actually exited when we're going sideways here. Um, it's tempting to go short right here, but you don't want to go short on that bar, that signal bar, right into that support. You know, it works in this case, but it's not a good setup, so you just kind of got to skip that. And we're not that far away from the EMA. It is a failed break lower, but the trend is down and everything is still below this trend line working down. So I don't think you can go long there either. That's the reason I don't have that one marked. And then we bounce. So there's really not a way to catch that move either. But notice you make a new high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry, and that's a nice bar that traded down, then came back and almost closed on its high. So just go long right there. It takes it a little bit to get going. It never did tick lower, so I didn't like going long off all those matching bars stacked up there. They all do have a very bullish tint. They're getting more and more bullish each time. But we're only looking for a retest of the high, so it could break above that and just go a tick or two and turn down. So again, I think you just have to skip that one. But if you entered here, depending on how you played it with a runner, you might have been able to ride that a good ways there. But then notice now you got the break of this one, move to a new high. You're looking for prices to probably come up here, but you get those first two swings and then it pulls back and it gives you, it can't go higher because the trend line's really holding there. So, but that's a second entry short. Notice that new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. It's a confirmation. Your first two swings there kind of set that trend line, and then this kind of confirms it. So I like that one. And this time you do catch a nice move down. And then it bounces right where this previous support was. There's a second entry short here, but notice the new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. But I don't really like that one. We're not back to the trend line. It's not a real, it's a small bar, but it's mostly bullish. And then notice what happens. I don't have a line here where it makes it real easy. So, but you can see that support right across there. And notice how we get that little failed break lower, and it traps people. I like catching that one back to the EMA, the trend line, because this has been strong support across here. And it looked like we may get a runner here. You got to be careful for a retest because of this trend line. So you had to be a little bit leery of that, or aware of that, I should say. So you don't want to go long right there, but when you get the failed second entry short right there and it bounces right off that trend line again and gives you that bullish reverse ball, just go long. It's only good for a scalp, unfortunately, but you know, it's a good setup. So notice your new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. It bounces right off the EMA, the trend line. It's failed second entry short. So nice easy scalp. Then it backs up, and there's really no entry. We already had a close outside down here, and you might have, there's actually two ways to look at this one. You might have drawn a new trend line right there. Okay, had a little interruption, but yeah, you could have looked at this way, and this would have been the first break at a new high, and then you get the other channel. So this was how I originally looked at it, but in the end, I think this is it right here. We just never got a retest of the low on this one. And so they really didn't, the rally did, or the uptrend didn't really start till these two swings. So um, that's probably the, looking at it really closely, that's probably the better way to look at it than the way I originally had it. But that's how I looked at it the first time. So you still get to the same place for the most part. Um, didn't change much other than the fact that now the price action fits the channel, because you get your first break, move to a new high, and then you got another channel working down, and notice you get your break and a new low, and then it reverses. So it does fit better like this as far as everything playing out. So um, and this also, another way to look at this is a little bit of a trading range here, and that's kind of a breakout pullback long as well, and then another opportunity. But um, this was just a first entry, and you got that trend line right there, and so you really just don't get a setup for that one, unfortunately, because that was a pretty nice move. But you know, you get plenty of other chances over here, and you just have to skip those. And that's what I try to tell people. I'll say that real quick before I move on. Anytime you see a trade, if you follow the rules, even though there was a big move and you went without, you don't let that frustrate you, because what'll happen is you'll say, next pullback I'm getting on, and then it pulls back right here and gives you what looks like a pretty decent second entry long, and you get trapped, and it traps you out, and then it goes where you think. So don't let the market shake you up. That's part of being, keeping your head and keeping your cool, and following the rules. Sure, you'll miss some trades occasionally like this, but there's, you know, as long as you follow the rules, you did the right thing. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, then we make the new high. We start a correction here, and again we go sideways a little bit. It's tempting to enter right there, but you're probably going to snap back and give you a breakout pullback short, which is what happens here. Notice the support right there, and it breaks lower, pulls back, and gives you a short right there. And I really was hoping we'd come all the way back down to here, but we don't. It's a quick, easy move. Then it comes back and gives you a failed second entry long. And of course, you know, if you're following that trend line, you don't want to be going long into it. And when it turns down, you go short right there. Another quick, easy move, and then it bounces. And look what happens. It shoots right through the EMA. This is a reversal type pattern. It shoots right through the EMA, pulls back, goes higher, pulls back, and gives you that failed second entry short. There's your trend line off the first two swings. This confirms it. Go long there. And if you caught that one, you know, you can ride that. You can ride that one. You could have ridden it all the way to the close, basically. And you can see that. That would have been a huge move. What would that have been? If you just got out about 3 o'clock or so, 17 points on one runner. And that's the kind you want to try to catch. And even if you played it conservative, like I like to play it, which I usually do, I would have looked to exit on the first bar that closes outside and then goes lower. So that's 7 points right there. So just off that, just playing it conservative. And then notice what happens. We try to correct here. We bounce off the trend line. Notice the new high too. Pull back first entry and then pull back second entry. So that's a second entry long right there, right off the EMA. And there's a midline in there too. I'm not going to put it on there since this is the last trade, but I like that one. And that turns out to be it's only good for a scalp, but you wouldn't look for much more, because you just came off the high and you're really coming off the midline, so you're probably going to go back to the high again. And then it pulls back, and this is actually there's actually an entry right here. I should go ahead and mark it, because it's a pretty good entry. It is right at the 2 o'clock hour, but let me explain it here. You got this, you're going sideways again here, so you got that support, and that's a failed break lower. But the big thing is, you know, you trap all these shorts here, and when it turns up, just go long there. And if you drew this line off these highs here, um, depending on how you drew it, you could draw it a couple of different ways. I originally had it there and I kind of moved it down a little bit. But if you draw it right off those highs, like so, and then you drag it down, you know, you're looking for something to happen somewhere in that vicinity there. And so a lot of times that's how you can find it on the other side without a whole lot more price action. But anyway, that pretty much wrapped it up for the day. So pretty good day. Um, Not some of those 30-point move kind of days unless you caught one like down here and held on to it, you know, but you could have done that. I mean, assuming you entered here and you held on to wherever, let's just, because you never got a break of that other trend. Let's just say you held it into 3 o'clock. Well, that's 24 points basically. So if you, that's hard for me to do. I've talked about it before. Really, I don't talk a whole lot about where you should exit because I think that's personality driven. Where we enter and the rules we use and all that, that's written in stone pretty much. But how we exit on our runners, I leave that open to how you want to handle it because everybody's different. Some people don't like to get in and out a lot. If they catch a good trade, they want to hang on and get what they can out of it. Me, I'm a lot better at picking the entries, but I'm terrible at holding on to it and watching it take money back. It's hard for me to do. And just to give you an example, let's say I enter right here and we're coming up. When this thing starts correcting and corrects 5.5 points there, I can't stand that. I'm getting out and locking my money in, and I'll wait for another entry. And for me, that's just my personality. But some people would rather hang on and try to catch one, you know, maybe one or two runners and just let it go as long as they can. And technically, if you're good at that, you could have held this all day long. Really, you could have entered one trade at 10 o'clock and on one contract and held it and made 25 points for the day. That's pretty doggone good, but that's just not my personality. But I've talked to other traders, and you know, they're not as they don't like entering and exiting a lot. They'd rather try to catch a trade like that. So if that works for you, that's the way you need to trade it, because how comfortable you feel will be directly related to your success results. So if you're not real comfortable, you're not going to have as good of results. And so when the market starts moving against me like that, and I've given back 5 or 6 points, I start panicking, and you cannot do that. That's the one thing. So I just change my style to I try to pick measured moves and things like that, and getting out before it gets to the strong support or strong resistance, depending on entry direction and all that. So that's how I've chosen to handle my part. So if you're better at hanging on, then that's what you need to do, because the more comfortable you are, the more relaxed you will be, the less mistakes you'll make, and the better trader you'll be. So I hope that makes sense. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the week. It's been another good trading week. I've got I did get a couple of emails, people talking about their success. Let me just, I may read a couple here real quick. I can find them quickly. I'm gonna. Here's one here. A lady sent me this. It's been about 15 months since I've been studying and learning your methods. It's finally started to come together. A critical turning point for me was taking seriously the advice on how important it is to study the daily charts. Previously, I would do my sim trading, then watch your daily chart review once or twice. A few months ago, I took this a step further. I now print out my screenshots of the day's trading, then go bar by bar, taking copious notes on the printout while listening and often pausing the video. It takes a couple hours doing it this way, but it has helped me enormously. I find that this way I don't just focus on the good circled setups, but I also concentrate on trades that one shouldn't take, even if they happen to work out. And um, I mean, I couldn't say it any plainer than that. And I try to tell people that, and people don't listen. They don't understand the importance of it. But every time somebody takes it to heart, and it's not long before they write back with a note similar to what I've just read to you there. And I mean, there it is from somebody else telling you that the secret was when they started studying their own chart and figuring out why good trades worked, why the bad ones didn't work, and that's how you learn. It really is. You can trade all day, every day for years, and if you don't go back and study your trades, you're just wasting time. Sure, eventually, if you can hang in there that long, you might still get it. But if you just take the time to study your chart every day and understand how important that is, it makes a world of difference. So thanks for sending that note. I always like to hear about the success people have. Then I got another one today too, and just so happens this is another lady that sent me. This is two ladies. So you ladies that have taken up trading, y'all are having just as much success as the men. So this is not a men's. We don't have a lock on this. You ladies are having success too. So. But this lady sent me one. Hi, Mac. I know you like receiving these emails. I can say with confidence that the light bulb has officially gone off. Not just the technique of trading price action, but also the whole mental aspect that goes with it. Thanks for everything you're doing. Keep us on the right path. And she didn't say a whole lot, but basically just said that, I say that a lot. Until that, you'll think you've got this multiple times, and you'll try to go live because you won't listen to old Mac, and you'll lose some more money, and you'll finally say, "Oh, I got to go back to the drawing board." But I promise you, when you really get it, you will know, and all that, will make more sense what I'm telling you, because it's hard to comprehend, and it doesn't make sense until you actually get there, and then you can look back and you can see, yep, I see what he was talking about now, and I bet you, I've had no less than 100 people contact me and say, Matt, I know, I, you know, the light finally went off, and now I understand everything you were trying to tell me. It all makes sense now, but it didn't make sense before that. So those of you that are new, that are struggling, don't give up. Just keep practicing every day. Get on the simulator. Don't waste your money. Don't give your money away to experienced people that are going to eat you alive when you try to get in the market. Don't trust me. It's you don't want to go up against people that have experience and that know how to do this, because they're going to beat you every time. You might get lucky and have a few winning trades, but it's not going to last, and you're going to lose in the long run. You're going to lose a lot of money. So wait till you know you got it. Wait till you've been able to do it on the simulator for an extended period of time. If you can put a $5,000 in a simulator account, and you can double or triple that following the rules. I've had people do that too. They get on there and they double down, and they do all kind of things to make sure they don't have any losses, and then they say, I did it, but you find out they cheated. And when they go to try to do that live, they don't have the money in their account. They can't double down, or they double down one time and it doesn't work, and they can't stick another fake 5,000 in their account. They got to put a real one in there that time, and they just shoot themselves in the foot. So, but anyway, not to beat a dead horse, but the key to this thing every day is studying your work. Get on there and trade and get as much screen experience as you can every day, and then the real work starts after that. If you traded 5 hours, the real work doesn't start till after that 5 hours of trading. You got another 2 or 3 hours of study time of studying your trades, studying your charts, figuring out why prices did what they do. And I mean, that's how I learned this stuff. I mean, I sat here and looked at it every day and studied my chart every day until I could see it. And you'll start to see it first after the fact. People will come on every one. It hadn't happened much lately, but people will come on to the YouTube videos and say anybody can draw these trend lines in the trades after the fact. Well, you'd be surprised. Not anybody can do that. That's your first step. But once you've got that down, once you understand that part of it, sure, anybody can probably do that. But if you keep doing it, eventually you'll start to see little pieces in real time, and you'll be watching in real time, and you say, "Oh man, I see what's happening here," and that'll happen more and more till you have a really good understanding of it. I mean, honestly, I still get better at this every day. And I used to think that you could only become so good at it, but I still get better. And other people tell me the same thing. They still get better every day. And that's one of the reasons why I do this chart lesson every day, because it forces me to go back every day. And I've been doing this for, I don't know how long I've been doing these YouTube videos. There's probably 1,000 of them out there by now, maybe more. One day I'm going to go look, just see how many videos we've got. Um, but I've been doing this for years. And one of the reasons I like to do it is because it still forces me to go look at my chart every day and to study it, because I don't trade all day. I'm usually done by lunchtime or something. Occasionally I'll trade past lunch, but a lot of times I'm done by 10, 11 o'clock, and I'm on to other things. So I do have to come back. I don't watch it all day. I have to come back and study the chart to see this stuff. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Um, so this is it for the week. So we'll probably won't see you till Monday. But I hope you have a great weekend. Hope you have a good trading day tomorrow if you trade. Uh, but I'm out of here for today. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.